Hi, I'm Steve Good. Welcome to my Scroll Saw workshop. This video is the next in a series of tutorials I will be doing to show you how to use CorelDraw to create scroll saw patterns. I am using CorelDraw X5 for these tutorials, but you should be able to follow along just fine with CorelDraw X4 and even some of the older versions, but obviously the specifics will be different from version to version. Tonight I'm going to continue with the process of creating simple scroll saw patterns, and as I go through the procedures I'm going to show you how and why I'm using the tools that I'm using. In the last video we went over several of the tools just to get started. We talked about the pick tool and the text tool and a few others, and tonight we're going to add a few more tools to our repertoire and see if we can create a little pattern here that I think will be useful to a lot of you. Before we get started, I want to talk about a couple of concepts and give you a demonstration of one of the, or actually two of the tools that we'll be using tonight to create this pattern. And to do that, I've put a couple of different colored circles on the screen here to use as a demonstration. In CorelDraw, everything that's on the screen is an object. So in this case, I have a circle object that I've colored red, and I have another slightly smaller circle that I have colored blue. What I'm going to do is overlap these two objects, the two circles, and with my pick tool I'm going to lasso both of them to select both circles. And you'll notice up here in the properties bar that another set of tools has shown up, and one of the tools we used in the last tutorial was the Weld Tool, and I'll demonstrate that again here real quick. You'll notice when I click on the Weld Tool, it took the two circles and it combined them together. Just as simple as that. I'm going to use my undo tool up here to go back to where we were. The next two tools that we're going to add to that tonight are these right here. One is the front minus back, and the other is the back minus front. And they're pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to click on them here. Here's the front minus back, and you'll notice that the red is in the back and the blue is in the front. And when I click on that, there's the front minus the back. Click the undo. The obvious thing now is the back minus front, which is going to give us just the opposite. Okay, now let's back up and undo that. I'm going to center both of these objects. I'm going to press the P key to center the red object. I'm going to press the P key after I've selected it and center the blue object. And you notice that the blue is a little smaller than the front. So if I need an outline for like a clock insert or anything where I need a circle that's hollow, I can select both of these, go up here to back minus front, which again the red is in the back, the blue is in the front, and when I click it you can see now I have this circle that we could add graphics into to create a scroll saw pattern. So that's basically what I want to show you there, and now I'm going to go on and we'll start into, I did that to give you a demonstration of what we're about to do. Let me add one more thing to this also. You'll notice that when we did the smaller circle inside the bigger circle and we subtracted one from the other, we got a nice even circle here. Sometimes with unusual shapes you don't get the results you would expect. Let me introduce another tool here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we go over here to the Basic Shapes tool and click on it, again our properties bar will change and there'll be a little icon right here that says Perfect Shapes. If you click on that, it'll list all these shapes that you can choose from. Let's select the heart. Okay, I'm going to draw a heart on the screen, and to get a perfect shape I'm going to hold down the Control key, click the left mouse button and drag, and I'll make it a pretty good size here so we'll be able to see it well. And I'm going to press the P key to center that. So now we have a heart on the screen, and it might be neat to have an outline of this heart that we could put patterns into. So you would think one of the easiest ways to do that would be to create another heart slightly smaller, and if we put that in the center we could use our front minus back and get our outline. And we'll do that. And let me color it in so you can see it better. You see that we have our outline, but the shape is not what we necessarily wanted or expected. It's not even all the way around. So let's back up from that, and I'll show you another tool that will make this easier for you. With this heart selected, and again I'll color it in so you can see it better. If we go over here to, let me find it here, the tool that normally is setting on blend, and we click and hold it, our flyout opens, and we can select this tool called contour. Click on the contour, and that'll change the properties bar up here. And if we come up here and change this contour offset, you can see that we're getting an offset of the size. In this case, let's move it up to 1/4 of an inch, 0.25. So there's a contour of 0.25, and you can see we have this perfect red circle now. But we also have this black in the middle that we need to get rid of. To make this work, there's a step you have to do, because these are not two different objects. They're just a outline of a heart and then a contour line around the inside. So we need to break these two apart. To do that, you come up to Arrange, Break Contour Group Apart. Nothing happened, but actually it did. What happened was it made these two pieces separate from each other. And in the past, before we did that, they were actually one piece. So with that done, now with everything selected with our pick tool, and we do the back minus front, you can see we have the perfect outline of a heart. Okay. Quick little tip there on how to get a perfect outline for your projects. Now let's get into the meat of what we want to do with our pattern before we run out of time. I am going to take and use my Ellipse tool and draw out an ellipse on the screen that's basically twice as long as it is tall. Okay, with my pick tool up here selected, and I select this object, I'm going to go back down to my contour tool again, which is in the flyout under blend, and I'm going to contour this ellipse maybe a little less than 1/4. Let's go to 1/4 of an inch. So you can see right there I've got my contour inside that ellipse I just drew. And again, this is now still one object, even though it looks like two. It's just an object with a contour inside. Now there's another set of icons up here that can change this, and if you look, I've got it set on inside contour, so it drew the contour on the inside of this ellipse. If we click on the outside contour, it'll draw the contour on the outside of the ellipse. But in this case, we'll select the inside because this is the size that I think we need. Okay, again, this is just one object. It's not two, so we can't use our front minus back yet. We have to actually create two objects out of this. So with this still selected, we go up to our Arrange, Break Contour Group Apart. Now you can't see the change, but we actually have created two different objects now. We have an object on the inside that's an exact contour of the object on the outside. So to get to where we need to be, we need to select our pick tool, select both of these new objects, and now you can see that our properties bar up here has changed to give us the back minus front. Click on the back minus front. You can't see the difference, but there is a difference. If we press a color, you can see now that we have a colored ellipse here that we can use for the project we're going to make. Okay, let's click on our text tool, and we will select a fairly bold font, Arial Black, and I'm going to use a font size of about 72 points, which is where we're at. I'm going to click on the screen, and all in caps, I want to type the word friends. Select my pick tool with the friends selected. I'm going to type or press the P key to center that. I'm going to click on my ellipse. I'm going to press the P key to center that. And now you can see we have the word friends inside this ellipse. With friend, I clicked off of this to deselect the outside of it. All I want selected at this point is the word friends. I'm going to click on the word friends. Now we're going to start a new tool. Again, down here in this same flyout that has the blend and the contour that we were just talking about, there's another tool titled Envelope. We're going to select that tool because we're going to actually change the outside envelope of this word friends. When I click on it, you'll see I get this bounding box around the word, and as I move my mouse over these little dots, I can actually click and grab and extend this word friends to where it overlaps our ellipse. And you'll notice when I click on it, I get this little handle. I'm going to grab the handle and drag it up. I'm going to click over here, drag the handle, click down here, drag the handle. And now we've got the outside of the word friends. We've changed the envelope so where it fits inside this ellipse that we just drew. I'm going to select the pick tool. I'm going to drag it around both objects. We have two objects now, the word friends and the ellipse. I'm going to go back up here to a tool we've used before, the Weld Tool. Click on Weld, and you can see right here we didn't quite get the envelope set right. So I'm going to back up, and let's select our envelope tool again. Click on this node, drag it out a little more so it overlaps better. So you can see we can back up and make changes if we make a mistake. And that's what I'm doing here. Again, my pick tool, lasso both objects, click Weld, and we've got our word friends inside of an ellipse. I'm going to go over here, hold down the control key to make a perfect circle. I'm going to go back over here to our contour tool. Inside this, I want a contour of, let's say, about that big. I've got 0.15 inches contour. Arrange, bright contour group. These are now two objects, front minus back. Color that in. There's our little eyelet. I'm going to press on the P key to center that eyelet. I'm going to use my arrow keys to now move this eyelet over to the left hand side of this friends object we just created. Once I get it about where I want it, I'm going to use my pick tool to lasso both objects. My weld properties bar comes up. Click on Weld, and there is our keychain with the word friends in it. So this is a very simple way of making these little keychains, and they're really popular. You can put names in them, or in this case a word like friends, and people really like these. You go out and buy yourselves the little ball chains and the links, and it works out really nice. Now in this case, when I click on this, we look up here in the properties bar, and these two boxes right here show the size of this particular object. And in this case, we've got an object that's 6.33 inches long and 2.509 inches tall. So that's a little big for a keychain. So again, with our pick tool selected, we can grab this node down here in the corner, and we can shrink this or enlarge it to any size we want. So in this case, let's say we want a keychain that's a little over 3 inches long. Let's say 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So we can either drag it, or we can go up here and click in this box and type in the exact size. So I'm going to type in 3.5 inches. In the next bar, which is the height, I'm going to type in 1.5 inches. And there is our keychain. Obviously, we could use the technique we talked about earlier in the other video to drag and copy, and we could make multiple keychains on one page and print them out. So there's the next tutorial for creating scroll saw patterns. I know there was quite a bit in this video, so you may have to go back and watch it a few times, but I think this will allow you to make some projects, some customized projects for your family and friends. I'm Steve Good. Hope you liked this video, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.